Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namami buddham gunasagarantam sattha sada hontu sukhi avera kayo jiguncho sakalo dugandho Gacchanti sabbe maranang ahancha. Homage to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends in the Dhamma, today I am going to discuss very important topics in Buddhism. Especially, I would like to explain the qualities of the Dhamma, what Buddha taught. We say Buddha's message as Dhamma. Dhamma has several meanings. Buddhism has used the term, the Dhamma, for several meanings. One of them is what the world reality. Buddha explained his message for 45 years. All of his doctrines, teachings can be included in a same stanza. Sabba papa sakaranam, kusala upasampada, sacitta pariyodapanam, etang buddhana sasanam. Sabba papa sakaranam, not to do any evil. Kusala upasampada, doing good deeds, meritorious deeds. Sacitta pariyodapanam, purifying one's mind. Etang buddhana sasanam, this is the message of all Buddhas who appeared in the world. All Buddhas who appear from time to time explain the same message. Although they use various words, their message is same. And in first, Buddha says, why we should not do evils? Why we should overcome evils? Evils means the things that we do with impure mind. If we do something with impure mind, then our activities are not correct. How our mind goes to impurity? When our mind is with anger, attachment or desire or ignorance, then our mind is impure. Then, at that time, we have no happiness because our mind is not pure. That is why, first of all, we have to overcome negative thoughts from our mind little by little. Especially in the first level, Buddha says, we should overcome anger. Since anger is the one of the main reasons that we suffer. He who wants to become the healthy life or blissful life has to practice loving kindness. By practicing loving kindness, we try to overcome anger. Anger is the main reason that we suffer. On the other side, we have to overcome desire or lust. For that, we have to practice generosity. And first of all, Buddha says, we have to overcome negative thoughts, evils from our mind, for our inner peace. Then, secondly, Buddha says, not only overcoming evils, but we have to develop good deeds in our life with pure mind. Here, Buddha says, we have to practice 3 meritorious deeds. What are the 3 meritorious deeds that we can practice in our day-to-day life? There are 3 meritorious deeds that we can practice in our day-to-day life for our inner peace. What they are? Dana, Sila, Bhavana. Dana means offering something to others concerning their needs or their qualities. Sila means discipline in our speech and behavior. Meditation means purifying our mind by practicing meditation. These are the techniques that we should practice to develop our positive thoughts. When we practice these kind of meritorious deeds, we develop our spirituality. We develop positive thoughts and we cultivate, we increase our friends around us. That's the second step. Thirdly, Buddha says, purifying one's mind. Sachitta Pariyodapana. That is very important. When we practice second level, we depend on the karmic law, the conventional truth. When we go to the third level, purifying our mind, we are not dependent on the karmic law. We depend on impermanence, the dependent origination. That is the difference. You should have an idea. What is the difference between Kusala Upasambhada, developing good deeds, doing good deeds, and Sachitta Pariyodapana, purifying one's mind? What is the difference in these two things? In Kusala Upasambhada, when we practice good deeds, 3 meritorious deeds, we think there is a world, permanent world outside. Before we were born, there was a world. We are born in the permanent world. After we will die, the world remains. That is the nature of the conventional truth, Sammaka Sati. We do meritorious deeds, wishing a good life, wishing a blissful life hereafter, depending on the conventional truth. Always we think there is a world outside. Even though I close my eyes, the world is outside. You think that even though you don't think your parents, your living friends, your house, your things, they are there. Although you are here, although you don't think them, they are there. It is true, but only in conventional truth. When we go to the next level, the ultimate truth, that idea is not correct. The world we create at the moment when we open our senses, our spheres. This is the Buddha's message. We try to contemplate on this reality in the third level, purifying our mind. We purify our mind from whom? From what? We purify our mind from ignorance. When we reduce ignorance, there is no space for anger or lust. Ignorance is like the main switch or trip switch at home. When we put off the switch of main switch, it doesn't need to put on other instruments, other devices. But it is very difficult to do at first. That is why we practice primary techniques, such as offering something to others, practicing loving kindness. Those are the primary techniques that we practice on the path of getting rid of ignorance. On the other side, by practicing 3 meritorious deeds, we generate positive thoughts, and by the power of practicing 3 meritorious deeds, we get some benefits. What are the benefits that we receive throughout practicing merits? Longevity, health, good complexion, and making friends. Especially, if we do something with pure mind, and when we do good deeds, that is one of the benefits that we can create good friends. When we are generous, when we are friendly with others, we have a lot of friends. They are not common friends. They are not ordinary friends. They are mostly good friends, noble friends, who point us the path of liberation. By practicing good deeds, especially, we develop our longevity, health. People who are in the world mostly do good deeds for the benefits of their next life. They don't know the quality of Dhamma. One of the qualities of Dhamma is visible results, sanditiko, akaliko, immediately effective. The results are not hereafter. The results can be seen in this short life itself. That is why we practice good deeds. Sometimes we are confused that whether I have a next birth. Even though you believe your next birth for your previous life, all of us believe our this life. Everyone likes to live peacefully and happily. When we practice good deeds in this life, we can live in this world happily and peacefully. This is the Buddha's message in short. And when we discuss Buddha's message, Buddhism, the Dhamma, Buddha himself explains 6 qualities of the Dhamma. Swakhato Bhagavata Dhammo. The Dhamma is well expounded by the Buddha. Sanditiko, directly visible. Akaliko, immediately effective. Ehipassiko, calling one to come and see, inviting one to come and see. Opanayiko, leading onwards. Pacchattam veditabbo, to be personally realized by the wise. These are the qualities of the Dhamma, well expounded. This is not a Buddha's private idea. Buddha realized and discovered the world reality. Buddha says very clearly, whether a Buddha appears or not in the world, this truth is forever. We respect the Buddha because he himself realized and discovered this message, and he explained this message to the world compassionately, kindly. That is why Buddha said, that is why we respect the Buddha. Buddhism is not a creation. Buddhism is not a message of a God or anyone. Buddhism, the Dhamma, what Buddha taught is a discovery. It is not a creation. Discovery is, the discovery? Discovery cannot be created by a person. Like salt, gems, water, oils. Those are the things which are discoveries. And Buddhism also like that. Buddha says, what I realize is the path, which is the ancient path that all Buddhas who appeared in the world is realized. The message Buddha explained is the ancient path. It is an ancient path that all Buddhas realized. It is the same message. And here, when we practice Dhamma, we should have a confidence that when we see this message, when we practice this message, we can see the results in this life. For example, if we have good discipline in our speech and behavior, we can see the results. Nobody blames us if we have good discipline. We can go everywhere without fear. Those are the results. When we practice generosity, we can make friends. When we purify our mind, we can develop our happiness. When we practice good deeds, we can develop our longevity, good health, good complexion. On the other side, if we want to see the immediate results, visible results, what is the highest thing that we should practice? Yes, very good. Whenever we practice impermanence, at the moment we have overcome suffering. For example, when you think someone who has blamed you, at the moment, if you are aware of your mind, you can understand this is a thought that comes to my mind. Because at the moment, the friend who has blamed you is not blaming you now. He has forgotten everything. Still you are blaming. Still you are blamed. What is the reason? Ignorance. When you think someone which happened in the past, you may think that still it is happening. But everything has ceased. We think it in our mind. Someone can blame you once. If you are ignorant, you are blamed again and again by yourself. And also, whenever, if we can keep our attention in the present moment with mindfulness, contemplating on impermanence, at the moment, our mind has no space to anger or lust. The thing is, we have a higher contemplation. What is the nature of our life? Our life is our six senses. What are the six senses? Yes, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. These are the six senses. We usually say that I see through my eyes. When we look at something, first of all, we have only the shadow. When we understand something, we can't understand something or person through our eyes. We understand something or someone through our mind. First, we get only shadow, then suddenly it ceases. Then we think through our mind about those feelings. Then we realize something through our mind. When we realize something through our mind, the first experience that we receive through our five senses has ceased. Now you are looking at me. You think that just moment, look at this person. But you can't understand me through your eyes. When you look at me, suddenly your first experience ceases. Then when you understand me through your mind. Then first experience has ceased. For example, when you look at the sky, you can see some planets in the sky. When you see those some planets or stars, the first light has ceased that originated from the stars. That is not only truth, but when you look at me, sometimes you think that the planets and stars are in the sky are very far, but this is very near. Even though I can't see the planets in the sky, I can see someone in front of me at the moment. But the thing is, you can't see a person or thing. You can see only the shadow. You can see only the sound. When you understand this is a vehicle sound, this is a person sound, this is my mom's sounds, then the first experience has ceased. You think your mind. If we have this understanding, we never hate others. We never have big attachment with everyone or everything. On the other side, there is a very special thing. Sometimes you may think that this is a wall. Everyone can experience this wall like I experience. But the interesting thing is, this wall is for me just now, according to my senses, according to my mental conditions. When my mental conditions change, the experience that I receive through my senses is different. There are some beings, like ghosts. Even though this is a wall for us, this is not a wall for them. They can go through the wall. They can see through the wall. This is a wall for my senses, for my mental conditions. And also, this is the wall for just now. If I change, if my senses change according to my mental conditions, these all things are changed. That is why sometimes there are some beings like ghosts who are born near a very pure water lake. They were born near a lake or river. Other people go to the river or lake, bring some water and drink. But those gods can't drink that water. What is the reason? Sometimes, even though there is water there, they can't see the water. Sometimes, they see that water like blood, according to their senses, according to their mental conditions. This is the reality of the world. This is the thing that Buddha realized. This is not the Buddha's creation. This is the nature of the world. This is the thing that we should realize by ourselves. Buddha is like a teacher. Buddha says, I am not a surveyor. I am only a teacher. Going on this path is your duty. Explaining this message to you is my duty. And if we can listen to this message, if we can realize this message, actually we also can experience as Buddha experienced. And here, when we discuss Buddha's message, it is very important to understand the both truths, the two truths. One of them is the conventional truth. The conventional truth. Conventional truth means the ordinary people think what they think. Ordinary people think that there is a world outside. What I experience, other people also can experience in the same way. That is true, but only in conventional truth. On the other side, the people think that before I was born in the world, there was a world. After I die, the world remains. That is also the conventional truth. And also, the interesting thing, the karmic law also depends on the conventional truth. Avidya paccaya sankhara. Sankhara means mental formations are created by ignorance. You can think something that you have done as a good thing. For example, if you have offered something to innocent people, now you can imagine it. When you imagine that activity, you may think that those people are outside. It is also under the conventional truth. By contemplating on that situation, you can have a blissful life hereafter. You can be reborn in a blissful life if you think it's end of your life. But you are not away from the samsaric circle. You are still in the samsaric circle. Again and again you are born. What is the reason? When you think those situations, you may think that still those things are outside. Even though you think you are dead, still you are in your Father's world. When you think your Father, what do you think? Yes, you think that your Father's past activities. At the moment, you don't know that you are remaining in your mind. You think that there is a true incident outside. Everything that you experience with your dad has ceased. But when you think your dad, your service, the situation appears in the world. Even though your dad has passed away, anytime, when you think your father, you are in your father's life. Not only that, end of your life, when you die, if you think your father, you are ready to search in your father. That is the thing. If you haven't an ability to realize the thing that happens at the moment is my mind, you are ready to go to your father's world. If your father is higher realm, like heaven, if yours spirituality is very high, you can be reborn near your father. Sometimes, if your father is in a lower realm, you are ready to go to another realm, look at your father. Yes?
So, even though you do, like, say you were thinking about that moment, thinking about his dad, so even though you do good deeds, you still go back to that lower realm?
No.
You think about that?
If your mind is so powerful, you don't go to the lower realms. But the thing is, in the future, you want to contact with your father anywhere. You know, that is why sometimes there are some parents or relatives who passed away. After they die, they are born in a higher realm, like heavenly realm. Their children are in the lower realm, in the human realm. The realms are different. But sometimes, living in a higher realm, they help their children who are in the lower realms. And sometimes they are in the lower realm, they are living around the house as ghosts. Look in them. Sometimes, mostly, we are going in the sansaric journey by doing good deeds in the same way. That is why we meet the same people in the universe. And the thing is, we are born again and again in the same places. You know, universe is very huge. And there are a lot of planets. There are a lot of galaxies. And the beings who are going from birth to birth in the same place. If we are born in this earth, we mostly are born in the same place. What is the reason?
Yes, you're attached to something.
Yes, we have attachments with other people. We have a relationship. If you have done something for me as good, I have to do my return for you. If you have done me as bad things, I have to do the same thing. That is why we are born in the same places mostly.
But not necessarily people who go to the higher realm, they know Buddhism. For example, people can go there even though they don't know Buddha, they don't know anything about Buddhism, but they can still go there and be there without knowing what Buddhism is. There's somewhere good, but they don't know Buddhism or Buddha.
Yes, the thing is, this message is actually, although we say this is Buddhism, this is not Buddhism. This is the realism. Whether we know Buddha's message or not, we can't go away this reality. This is the reality in the world. This message doesn't belong to even Buddha. This is the reality that happens in the world that Buddha has realized. Even though we are not Buddhist, we have to face this situation if we have this mental condition.
So what you're saying, it's true whether you are living on earth or a higher realm, it's the same reality. Even higher realm or lower realm, the truth is the same.
Yeah, it's still we are talking about the conventional truth. Even though Buddha has explained karmic law also depends on the conventional truth. According to our mental, especially according to our ignorance, we think we are doing bad deeds, in other side we do good deeds. Even though we do bad deeds or good deeds, we have ignorance, therefore we are in the samsaric circle. If we want to overcome the samsaric circle, we have to understand the ultimate truth. Why do we go there? Why we need to go to the next step, the ultimate truth?
That's no reason.
Not only not having a rebirth, but even though we are born in a heaven or other higher realm, we have some problems in this universe. What are the challenges that we have in this universe? Old age, sickness, death, separation from lovers, dearest and nearest. Those are the problems that we face even though we do good deeds. That is why, if we want to overcome these challenges, we have to reach the second level, ultimate truth. What is the nature of ultimate truth? Before we were born in the world, there wasn't a world. And when we open our eyes or other senses, we create the world at the moment. Every moment we create the world according to our mental conditions throughout our senses. The world that we create every moment arises and ceases at the moment. If we have this understanding, we are hurried to realize this truth. Why is that? We are hurried to overcome suffering. Until we realize this truth, we are not away from suffering, even though we are very rich, even though we are well educated. That is why, in Buddha's time, there was some person who were near to their marriage, sometimes their kinship. They gave up everything, came to Buddha and were ordained. And they dedicated their life to rewrite this message in this life. We should be hurried to overcome suffering. In this level, we are hurried to do good deeds. We are hurried to practice meritorious deeds in the conventional truth, depending on the karmic law. But in this level, the second level, in the ultimate truth, we are hurried to overcome suffering. If we have this understanding, we always live in mindfulness. Mindfulness. Mindfulness means contemplating on our physical body and mind. And everything that we receive through our senses arises at the moment. In the conventional truth, there are ready-made things in the world. But the interesting thing, in the ultimate truth, there are no ready-made things in the world. We always create the things in the world, instant as instant. And every moment, we create the world through our senses. If we have this highest contemplation, then at the moment, we have overcome suffering. We have overcome old age, sickness, everything that we have overcome. It doesn't mean that we are lazy. Actually, we are very active people in the world after we realize this message. You know, there were some noble disciples of the Buddhas. Actually, they slept only 2 hours per day. After they realized this message, they were happy. They lived happily, and also they dedicated their life for the benefits of others. They were so compassionate to explain this message to others. We are suffering because of not understanding this reality. With mindfulness, not only mindfulness we have here, by practicing mindfulness, we always concentrate our mind. Samadhi. Samadhi means concentration. And with concentrated mind, we reflect on impermanence, then we develop our wisdom. If we have this understanding, our effort, energy increases. Energy also very important. And when we see these results, we are confident in Buddha's message. It is not just a blind faith. It is an understanding confidence. Confidence. These are the 5 spiritual faculties. When Buddha met a person, suddenly Buddha focused on that person's these 5 faculties. Buddha doesn't consider other things of the person. As soon as Buddha meets a person, the Buddha suddenly reflects on these 5 things of that person. Especially, wisdom is very important. The mindfulness is the center. Mindfulness is the center. And finally, Buddha says, when we live in the ultimate truth, it doesn't mean that we don't care conventional truth. Even though we live in ultimate truth mentally, physically, we have to live in the ordinary world who believe the conventional truth. Therefore, mentally, we are in ultimate truth. Physically, we are in the conventional truth. we have no problems with other people. Like elders play with children. They know very well, now I am playing with children. Physically, materially they are playing, but mentally they don't play. And even though we have attained enlightenment, we have to live with the ordinary people who haven't attained enlightenment. Then we are so compassionate to them. And we always are ready to forgive them. And also, we are ready to help them to realize this message that we have realized. And day by day we go forward. And finally, Buddha says, as an intelligent person, we have to practice only two things: concentration and insight meditation. When we are living in concentration and wisdom, then the objects who are coming through our senses can't disturb our peace of mind. Now, the objects which are coming from outside through our senses can change our inner peace, because we are ignorant. When we are intelligent, without ignorance, then as soon as we experience something, we look at inside. Now we look at outside. When we experience something, we mostly look at outside. But the intelligent person always looks at inside. Like we go to the mirror. When we go to the mirror, we understand this is me. Then we never touch our hand in the mirror. If we want to comb our hair, we keep it here. If we want to clean our face, we never put our hand there. At the same way, if we have problems outside, we think the reason is here. When we remember something, who has blamed me, if I am worried, it means the problem is here. That sometimes that person has forgotten everything. Still I am in the past experience. That is why Buddha says, the highest quality that we practice is mindfulness. As soon as we think something, we know very well what happens to my mind, what is the situation. When we think something which happened in the past or which will happen in the future, I know very well I am in the present moment. Everything that comes to my mind is in my mind. Then I understand the impermanence. It doesn't mean that I don't do some activities in the future. It doesn't mean that I don't plan my future. Actually, we do it. But we do everything with mindfulness. This is the Buddha's message. This message is well expounded, directly visible, immediately effective, call in one to come and see, to be personally realized by the wise. And if we can understand this message, we always try to practice, especially as an intelligent person, the highest thing that we should practice is concentration and insight. Whenever we are in mindfulness with concentration and insight meditation, at the moment, nobody or nothing can disturb our peace of mind. We have overcome suffering. The main purpose in our life should be getting rid of suffering. If we want to get rid of suffering, we have to overcome ignorance. If there is a problem in a dark room, we want to remove darkness. But we can never remove darkness with baskets. What should we do? We have to light a candle. Removing darkness is the nature of light. Here, if you want to overcome anger and desire completely, it is not enough to practice loving kindness and generosity. We have to light the candle of wisdom. Then automatically our all other negative emotions go away. As much as we are able to light the candle of wisdom, our negative thoughts gradually go away. That should be our main purpose in our life. We were born in this world to listen to this message and realize to this message. And if we want to get the results from our life, we have to practice this truth day by day. This is the worldly truth. This is not the Buddha's own idea or message. This is the Dhamma. This is the world reality. This is the truth. This is the thing that we practice. Here, I have given you some topics. Actually, last year also I have given the same thing. The topics, special topics or main doctrines in Buddhism. From time to time, I give you the same thing because I want to remind you the main doctrines that we learn, that we study in this class. The triple gem, Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, you know very well. The 5 precepts that every day we observe. And the 3 levels of preaching Buddha's message. Practicing Buddha's message. And one of them is the first level. Education, economy or employment, health and moral life or ethics. The second level, 3 meritorious deeds. Dana, Sila, Bhavana. And the third level, 3 disciplines. The second level, the foundation of the second level is the karmic law. The foundation of the third level is the dependent origination or impermanence. Dependent origination means the nature of impermanence. Ahutva sambhutang hutva nabhavisati. Not being occurred comes to occurrence. Being occurred will not go to occurrence. This is the nature of everything that we experience in our life. And our best friend, mindfulness. If we have mindfulness, there are the 4 things together. Confidence in the Buddha's enlightenment, energy, concentration, and wisdom. The fourfold mindfulness. Mindfulness can be divided into 2 one way, and also mindfulness can be divided into 4 in other way. 5 spiritual faculties, like we explained. The highest knowledge that a person can gain for getting rid of suffering. the knowledge of karmic law and the knowledge of the dependent origination. And enemies that we should get rid of. We should understand the real enemies in our life. Greed, anger and delusion. Buddha says, it is not difficult to win hundreds of enemies in the battlefield, but the only thing that is difficult is to win our mind. How do we win our mind? Here we should understand the real enemies who disturbs our peace of mind. Greed, anger and delusion are the enemies. Dhamma reflection. Loving kindness, honesty and wisdom. On this path of spirituality or liberation, we have practiced some qualities from the beginning to end. We should start this spiritual path with loving kindness. Then we gradually go away. Honesty also very important. Honesty means, what is the nature of honesty?
Being true.
Yes, that is one of the things. When we go to the deeper level, in the name of spirituality, whatever we do, we should think, when I do these things, whether my greed, conceit or self-view increase or decrease. For example, if you are going to offer something to others or giving a dana to monks, you may think, why should I do this activity? When I do this activity, whether my conceit, greed or self-view increase or decrease. This is the real Dhamma reflection. Sometimes people do good deeds, but finally they want to increase their conceit, mana. They want to develop their self-view. This is the person who I am. By doing good deeds, they want to develop their self-view. Yes. In this path, it is good for karmic law in the conventional truth, but it doesn't apply to ultimate truth. That is why Buddha says, there are some qualities that we should practice on the path of liberation. All of them are in Metta Sutta, Karni Metta Sutta. Sakko, Ujuja, Sujuja. Sakko means skillfulness. Ujuja means honesty. Sujuja, upright, humble. Those are the qualities that we should have on this path. If we don't have these qualities, we can practice some meritorious deeds in the conventional truth, but we don't reach the ultimate truth. Ultimate truth is going away from the samsaric journey. Honesty is very, very important. We should reflect again and again whether my conceit, my greed, my self-view increase or decrease. That is a very good idea. We don't need some judgments from outside. We can have a judgment from inside. Then next one, the Four Noble Truths. The suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, the path that leads to cessation of suffering. This is a very important topic. Suffering and the noble truth of suffering, there is a difference. next week. Sometimes we will discuss this. The difference between suffering and the noble truth of suffering. Suffering means death, sickness, separation. Those are the things suffering. It is not the noble truth of suffering. Noble truth of suffering is different. The cause of suffering. The people think that the cause of suffering is attachment to outside. But it is only the cause of suffering, but it is not the noble truth of cause of suffering. The real cause of suffering is inside. I like myself. That is why I have attachment. And the other things are also like that. The Noble Eightfold Path, right understanding like that. And spirit, dependent origination, cause and effect. This is the heart of Buddhism. This is the essence of Buddhism. This is the identity. This is the unique. Because all scientists, religious people, educators explain the conventional truth. Sometimes they advise us to practice good deeds, but we are in the samsaric circle. And the five aggregates, this is our life. Five aggregates cannot be separated. Those five things are together always. Our life, this is the bottom of our life. Even though we see there are tables, bottles, some things, flowers outside, finally we can see the five aggregates. In the primary level, we can see four elements. Four fundamental elements. Earth, water, fire, air, windy. And those are the primary elements. But when you go to the deeper level, we have only these five things. For example, when we think something, when we are dreaming, in our sleeping, actually we can reflect on four fundamental elements. At the moment, these five aggregates are activated. And causes to develop the wisdom. Associating good friends, listening to Dhamma, wise reflection, and practice. Buddha's message in a nutshell, as we mentioned before, Sabba Papa Sakaranam, Kusala Sukha Sambada, Sachitta Pariyo Etam Buddhana Sasana. There are 10 steps on this gradual path from good association to liberation. Little by little, we should go forward on these steps. And have you any questions in this speech? We met after a long time again, and I am happy to meet you again after 3 months. And however, little by little, we should go forward not only with understanding but practicing. Practice is also very important. The important thing is not only sit in meditation, but every moment, if we can practice mindfulness, when we do something with awareness, actually we are not away from Dhamma. We should try to live in Dhamma always. living Dhamma means is living in mindfulness. For that, I wish you all the best. By the power of all these meritorious activities, may our departed relatives also receive this spiritual energy. May they enhance their spiritual energy. Finally, they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our departed relatives with compassion. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these meritorious activities, may guardian deities and angels also receive this spiritual energy. May they enhance their divine energy, and may they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to guardian deities and angels too. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devā nāgā mahindikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu sāsanam. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devā nāgā mahindikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu desanam. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devā nāgā mahindikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu tvaṃ sadā. By the power of all these meritorious activities, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May your righteous wishes meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkhaṃ pantā ca nindukkhā, bhayaṃ pantā ca nibbhayā, sokaṃ pantā ca nissokā, hontu sabbe pipānino. Dukkhiṃ pēlena sat, dukkhiṃ mēdetvā, biyen pēlena sat, biya nati vetvā. Sovin tevena sat, somnas vetvā, nitin me hama sat, suvapat vetvā. All the blessings be with you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.